The Pro Bowl is the NFL saying you were elite this year.
And the Pro Bowl is also the NFL trying to stage an all-star event in a sport where the number one rule is don't get hurt for free.
So tonight, we're going almost word for word through our companion paper because the history here is wild and the modern version is basically football's weirdest family reunion.
Yes, so the citations are in the blog that dropped earlier today. We're not going to read bracket numbers out loud like bedtime stories, so... You're listening to the AAA Ball and Play podcast. Quick note, this is for education and entertainment. Nothing here is legal, tax, or financial advice, and nothing we say creates an athlete-agent relationship. Listening or contacting us does not make us your lawyers or your agents. For advice, talk to a qualified professional in your state. So let's first talk about what the Pro Bowl is supposed to be. In the landscape of American sports, the National Football League has established multiple platforms to recognize players to recognize and honor player achievement. One of the most prominent is the Pro Bowl, an annual all-star event intended to showcase the league's top players of that season.
It's contemporaneous recognition best now, and historically, it was an exhibition game pitting conference all-stars against each other after each season.
Over time, though, the Pro Bowl's format and reputation have dramatically evolved. Once it was considered a prestigious showcase of elite talent, players treated it as a genuine competition, and I remember those days. It's been criticized in recent years for its lack of competitiveness and declining intensity.
Which is why the NFL did what it always does when something stops working.
Yeah.
Rebrand it, restructure it, and add cameras.
True. So let's talk about the history from 1938 to Hawaii to the beginning. This sounds so dramatic. To the beginning of the end. So the concept of an NFL All-Star game predates the term Pro Bowl. The league's first All-Star exhibition traces back to 1938 when the NFL staged the Pro All-Star game in Los Angeles, matching that season's champion against a team of all-stars, which is interesting, right? That ran annually until 1942, and then it paused for World War II.
And after the war, the league revived it in a new form. Starting with the 1950 season, the game we now know as the Pro Bowl began. Two teams of all-stars, originally East versus West, later AFC versus NFC after the merger era.
So from 1951 to 1972, it was in Los Angeles every January, typically 1 week after the championship/Super Bowl, as a postseason finale, which made sense, right? Because you didn't have to worry about getting hurt in the Pro Bowl before the Super Bowl. And then it rotated in the 70s with games in cities like here in Miami and in New Orleans.
And then came along the vacation honor era.
Yes.
In 1980, the Pro Bowl settled at Aloha Stadium in Honolulu. For about 3 decades, it was winter's reward trip, still an honor, still a game, still relaxed, but not totally fake.
Right. Then the late 1990s even saw fan interest rise with skill competitions they added in, like the quarterback challenge and things like that, events that were legitimately fun and complementary to the game.
And then modern football economics showed up like, hi,
Yes.
I'm risk management.
So by the early 2000s, awareness of injury risk grew and fewer players were inclined to treat the Pro Bowl like real football. Turning points that's often cited is the 2007 Pro Bowl when Sean Taylor delivered a highlight level hit on Brian Moorman. Fans loved it. Players learned the wrong lesson. Basically, that someone can still wreck you in exhibition.
And after that, the game increasingly looked like a two-hand touch.
Yep.
Token effort, minimal tackling, everyone protecting the bag.
Yes. So in 2010, the NFL moved the Pro Bowl to the week before the Super Bowl to chase TV ratings, which never made any sense to me. And Super Bowl players were automatically replaced. So you have the two best teams that presumably have the best players, and they're not playing in the Pro Bowl anymore. So that diluted the original concept even more.
And by 2012, the play quality was so widely criticized that Commissioner Roger Goodell publicly suggested he might not keep it if effort did not improve. And that's corporate language for this meeting could have been an email.
Yes. So from 2014 to 2016, the league experimented with an unconferenced fantasy draft format. It was novel. You had two captains drafting teams, but it didn't fix the underlying issue. Players still didn't want to risk injury.
And then the format reverted and the location shifted, eventually landing in Orlando for a bit of a stretch.
Now, the league also increased the integration of skill competitions. You had dodgeball, passing challenges, relay races, because skill events showcase personality and talent without pretending the Pro Bowl is a meaningful tackle game.
Translation, if the sport can't be real, at least make it fun.
Yes. So let's pause for a second on the history there, and let's talk about the selection process.
Let's,
yes. All right. So Pro Bowl rosters are determined by a 3-part ballot. Fans, players, and coaches each contribute 1/3 of the vote. Fan voting was added in 1995, and it introduced popularity dynamics, while player-coach voting counterbalances that, or at least it's supposed to in theory.
And then comes the nuance, alternates and replacements, injuries, opt-outs, Super Bowl conflicts. And over time, dozens of additional players can end up being called Pro Bowlers as replacements.
Yes. So the NFL's definition is technical about this. A player is credited if he was originally selected or if he was named as a replacement and accepted and participated. If you decline it, it doesn't count.
This is how the honor got watered down, because one year it can feel like half the league is a Pro Bowler.
So an extreme example from the paper that's up on the website was the 2016 Pro Bowl season, when an NFL record 133 players were ultimately named to their roster as initials or replacement selections.
People, 133 players is not a roster. That is a sign-up sheet.
That's a church bulletin. If your name is spelled correctly, congratulations, you made it.
And that's like calling somebody, what's the word, valedictorian?
Yes.
Because they walked past the school once.
And look, I'm not mad at alternates. This year, I'm super excited about alternates. But, get your bonus, get your resume line. I respect the hustle.
But at some point, the word elite starts feeling like when restaurants call fries handcrafted.
Exactly. Delicious? Sure. Rare? Absolutely not. So this is why the effort keeps dying, because the incentives don't match the risk. So Pro Bowler bonuses exist. Winners get more than losers, but the money is relatively small compared to star salaries. Financial motivation to play hard is minimal.
And the real incentive is the designation. Pro Bowler still matters in contract language, legacy talk, and Hall of Fame narratives, because it signals repeated recognition.
The irony is that the accolade matters more than the actual game, and that becomes important when the NFL starts evolving the event away from tackle football entirely. All right, so now we're getting up to about 2022, the flag football and NFL finally admitting reality. So the COVID era, as it did in many things, accelerated change. One year, the game was canceled entirely and replaced with a virtual event, which was crazy. Let's have a virtual football game. By 2022, even the commissioner was openly saying that the Pro Bowl just doesn't work. And the league needed another way to celebrate the players.
So the NFL introduced the Pro Bowl games, skill competitions plus a flag football finale.
Okay. The idea was simple. Take tackling out, increase participation and competitiveness, and package it for TV. Reviews were mixed. Some liked it more than the half-speed tackle version, which was ridiculous, and some thought it was silly. And some players still got hurt anyway, like Myles Garrett dislocating a toe during the 2023 event.
That sentence alone explains the Pro Bowl's curse.
Yes. So starting with this year, with the 2026 Pro Bowl games, the NFL is integrating the Pro Bowl into Super Bowl week festivities. The plan is to hold it in the Super Bowl host city, which is San Francisco, on the Tuesday before the Super Bowl. as part of the NFL's fan event ecosystem.
So it's a television production inside a convention center, the Moscone Center.
No
I hope I'm
idea.
pronouncing that right. With flag football and skill contests wrapped into a broader Super Bowl week entertainment machine.
The logic is to make it, quote, must-see TV, spotlight flag football, which I totally understand that and think that's cool, especially with the Olympic future. It'll be at the next Summer Olympics. And then, of course, we just did a podcast about how the NCAA has made it an emerging sport, flag football for women. So that part is cool. And leverage the fact that the media and fans are already in town.
It also quietly admits the Pro Bowl couldn't carry a weekend on its own anymore.
Yeah. So now the Pro Bowl, because I think some people get this mixed up, the Pro Bowl is not the same thing as being All-Pro. All-Pro, like AP First Team All-Pro, is more exclusive. Typically, there's only one best player at each position league-wide.
Pro Bowl is bigger rosters, mixed voting, alternates, and sometimes popularity. All-Pro is closer to you were the best.
But Pro Bowls still show up on resumes, and totals still shape narratives. So the modern nuance is count them, the Pro Bowl picks, but understand how they're made.
So that's part one. The Pro Bowl is still an honor, but the game has transformed into a celebration product. Skills, flag, content, cameras.
The Pro Bowl now lives inside of Super Bowl week.
And don't forget to join us tomorrow at 10 a.m. Again, Tuesday, when the Shedeur Pro Bowl scandal mini podcast drops.
I have just a little bit to say about that. And then part 2 of this on the Hall of Fame drops Thursday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, just hours before the class of 2026 Hall of Fame announcement. And we do tackle all the controversy about the leaked list this year. So
that's right. Companion blog, Scholarly Paper is live now on the website. That's where the citations live.
So like, share, and subscribe. Ball and Play family, we will see you next episode.